Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
And the name of this topic is harvesting. Now students, after irrigation, after weeding, your crop is now ready, right? Your crop becomes ready in about 3 to 4 months. It takes 3 to 4 months for the cereal crops to grow properly and they become mature. So it is the time to cut the crop, right? To obtain it and to distribute it to people, right? The process of cutting and gathering of a crop upon its maturation is known as harvesting. First of all, you cut it and then you obtain the seeds from it that after maturation. This process is known as harvesting. Basically, now you are obtaining the product from the field, that all the hard work you have done. Now, after the hard work, harvesting is done to obtain the crop, right? Now, what are the methods of harvesting? The first method obviously is manually, because this has been the traditional method. This is how people have always done harvesting. How is it done? Now the crop is cut from the bottom only, right? From the bottom itself with the help of a sickle, right? You hold the crop here and you cut it with the help of the sickle. So this is how this harvesting is done. This is manual in nature, very simple, but it takes much more time and labor. It is not that efficient. Alright, so harvesting manually done takes much more time. Next, with the help of a harvester, it is basically a machine, right? As you can see, this part of the machine, it moves on the field, it keeps on cutting the crops from the bottom and collects it inside, right? It basically collects it inside and puts it back in the field from the backside, right? It is rotating completely. This is kind of a wheel which rotates. It cuts the crop and it puts back into the field. For example, this is rotating, right? It is rotating now. It cuts the crop from here and throws it backwards, right? It is moving like this. So this is a machine. It is much more efficient, right? As you can see, it is cutting so much of area in just one go. In one go, it can take up so much of area, while a person will be digging it one at a time. So it takes much more time for it to be done manually. So it is much more efficient to do harvesting with the help of a harvester, right? Now threshing. What is threshing? Threshing is the process of beating cereal plants in order to separate the grains. See, this is the complete crop, right? This was the obtained crop from the field after you harvested the crop. Now there are seeds present on it, right? You only need the seed, you do not require the whole plant, right? So to obtain the seeds, they are beaten up so that the seeds separate out, the grains separate out. So this is the manual method, right? There, as you can see, women are beating the crop so that the grains fall out of the plant. Now another method is thresher. This is a machine in which you put the plant here and you obtain the seeds here, right? It's basically it is a machine. It is much more efficient, obviously. It requires less labor, very less labor. So there are two methods in everything. One is traditional, which is manual. The other one is a machine, that is a modern method, right? Now comes another process of winnowing. You have already studied what winnowing is. It basically is the process of separation of grain from the chaff. What is chaff? Chaff is the mixture of seeds, grains, and the plant. Basically, if the plant is very small, you cannot do the beating. So what you do is, these are the fragments of plant. Basically, you can say that this is the grass, right? Ghas foos here. The other different plant parts that stick to the seeds even after the beating. So how do we separate this grain from the chaff? We separate it with the help of winnowing. How is it done? A fan is kept here. So this fan rotates and air is sent towards the falling crop. This woman is standing, she's holding the grain with the chaff and she's dropping it down. Now as the grain is heavy, the grain falls here and it forms it basically is here a collection of grains. This collection happens because the grains are heavier than the chaff. The chaff flows away due to air because it is very light. So due to its light nature, it flows with the air and the grain settles down. The grain is not affected due to the air. So this is the manual method, right? There is a machine for that as well, for winnowing, to separate the grain from the chaff. So this is the machine that works as a winnower. You put in the grains and chaff here and only grains are obtained from here. The chaff is not obtained, right? So this is how it works. Now students, now comes a different machine, that is combine. This machine acts as a harvester and a thresher. Now what was their responsibility? Harvester was utilized to cut the crop and thresher was being utilized to separate the crop to separate the seeds or grains from the plant, right? Because you only require the grains. So this combine acts as both harvester and thresher. That is why it is called combine, because it is a combination of harvester and thresher. It harvests, it takes inside the crop and it brings out only the seed grains, right? So this is how a combine works and it is very, very useful. Basically it throws out the waste and it collects the seed, right? The seeds are collected. It is very much efficient. Obviously combines are utilized much more nowadays because they are better, they are more economical, they are much more efficient, right? In this lecture we basically studied harvesting. What is harvesting? How is it done? What are the methods of harvesting? What is threshing? How is it done? And winnowing and combine. Storage. Now students, you have grown the plant, you have harvested it. Now you have seed grains, right? After threshing, you obtain seed grains. You can say seeds or grains, right? Now obviously the grains are produced at a very large scale, right? Tons of seeds are produced. So obviously you cannot use those seeds in a single day, or you cannot sell them in a single day. So they have to be kept. Once the grains have been harvested, they have to be stored in a proper manner so that they are available throughout the year in every place, right? The storage hence is a very important thing, because once the grains have been harvested, they have to be stored in a proper manner. We will be discussing what this proper manner is, so that they are available throughout the year in every place. As you can see, this is a storage house in which in gunny bags the grains have been stored, right? So this is storage. Now what is an important point? If freshly harvested grains, the grains that have been freshly harvested, are stored without drying, if they are not dried, they may get spoiled or attacked by organisms, making them unfit for use or for germination. Basically, if water is left, there can be production of microorganisms which will eat the grain. They will destroy the yield. So the grains have to be dried before storage. If freshly harvested grains are stored without drying, they may get spoiled or attacked by organisms, making them unfit for use or for further germination, for further growth of grains, right? Now students, there are some factors to be kept in mind while storing grains. Let us see what these are. Firstly, the storage area should be dry. It should be free from moisture, as moisture promotes microbial growth. Microbial growth means bacteria, fungi. They may grow on the stored grains because the water promotes the microbial growth. So area should be dry. Second, storage area should be free from rodents or insects, right? Basically there must be no rats, there must be no mosquitoes, because they destroy the yield. So the storage area should be free from rodents and insects. Third point, there should be no open spaces like window from where birds can come in and out to eat grains. So basically you have to protect the grains from water, from rodents, from insects and from birds, right? So these are the points to be kept in mind. Now treatments for storage. Students, before storing seeds, they are sun dried to reduce moisture. As I already told you that the freshly harvested grains are to be dried first. So they are sun dried to reduce the moisture. Then dried neem leaves, garlic or turmeric pieces are used while storing grains at home to avoid microbial growth and pests. What are these? Neem leaves, garlic and turmeric. Now all the three act as disinfectant, right? They act as disinfectants and they do not allow the microbial growth, right? They are neem leaves, garlic and turmeric. Specific chemical treatments can also be given to store grains in a proper manner. Chemical treatments can also be done to protect them for longer periods, right? So these are some treatments that should be done before storage. Now students, methods for storing. Obviously the grains are produced at a large scale. So the methods for storing must be in such a way that they can accommodate large amount of grains that are being produced, right? So let us see. The first one is silos. They are basically present in industrial plants. Tall cylindrical storage structures with openings. As you can see, these are cylindrical structures and they are tall. As you can see, they are very tall. Buildings, they are very much taller than the buildings with openings. They have different openings at different points, such as here, here or here. There are many openings, but they are closed when they are used for storage. They can store different stock of food grains at different levels. They can store different stock of food grains at different levels. Whenever required, grains can be taken out from the opening. So silos are very important for storage. And as they are present in front of sun, the sunlight is falling directly on them. So they are perfectly dried. There is very less probability of moisture present inside because the temperature of sun keeps the grains dry, right? Second method is granaries. What is granaries? It consists of gunny bags filled with food grains, which are stacked in a large godown or wooden draped platforms away from the walls with alleys for fumigation between the stacks. Basically, as you can see, these are gunny bags. These gunny bags filled with food grains are stacked in large godowns or wooden draped platforms away from the walls with alleys for fumigation between the stacks. Basically, this is the kind of structure. This is made up of ropes. It can be wooden as well, right? Or a godown. This is how they are stored. These are granaries. As the first picture showed you, either you fill the grains in silos or you put them in gunny bags and store in some godown or wooden draped platforms, right? Now cold storage. Students, till now you saw the storage of grains that last long. They are not destroyed due to microbial action very fast. It takes a longer time for them to be approached by microorganisms and to be affected by them. But these kind of things that are stored in cold storage, if they are not stored in cold storage, they easily get decomposed very fast. The microbial action on them is very fast. The perishable foods such as fruits and vegetables are stored in cold storage houses. As you can see, it is kind of a big fridge. And these vegetables are stored in the fridges, cold storage houses. Cool season fruit and vegetable, the temperature is about 0 to 2 degrees Celsius. For fruits and vegetables, which are produced in cold season, this temperature remains about 0 to 2 degrees Celsius. And for warmer season fruits and vegetables that are produced in summers, the temperature can be kept at 7 to 10 degrees Celsius because they can survive at a higher temperature as well. So this is cold storage, and this is basically done for perishable foods such as fruits and vegetables. Crop rotation. What is crop rotation? The practice of growing two or more dissimilar crops. Dissimilar means different crops. Different which are not similar to each other. The process of growing two or more dissimilar crops on the same plot of land alternately is known as crop rotation. Basically, firstly, for example, you grew carrots, right? Then you grew pea. Then you grew broccoli, right? So, practice of growing two or more dissimilar crops on the same plot of land alternately is known as crop rotation. Firstly, you grow carrots, then you grow peas, then after peas you grow broccoli, then again you come to carrots. This is known as crop rotation. Now, how is this important? How is this good for us? Basically, students, soil has nutrients, right? So when you grow a kind of plant, it uses up some kinds of nutrients, right? For example, the soil has 3 kinds of nutrients, A, B and C, right? Now when you grow carrots, it utilizes first nutrient, right? Now for the second round, you grow pea, which utilizes the second kind of nutrient, so that the first nutrient is refilled back to the soil, so that the soil can regain the first nutrient. For some, it gets some time to regain the lost nutrients, right? To become rich in nutrients again. Then when you grow broccoli, it utilizes C kind of nutrients, right? So this way you utilize the different kinds of nutrients of soil, and it also gives the soil time to regain the lost nutrients. The nutrients that have been utilized in the growth of plants are regained with the help of crop rotation, right? Now, mixed cultivation. The process of growing 2 or more different types of crops in a particular field at the same period of time is known as mixed cultivation. For example, as you can see, this is a different kind of crop, this is a different kind of crop, this is a different kind of crop, and this is a different kind of crop. So here you can see 4 to 5 different kinds of crop in a single field. So this kind of cultivation is known as mixed cultivation. You can do this at your home farms as well, because you require different kinds of crop. So you grow different kinds of crop in the same field to obtain different kinds of yield, right? You have different kinds of crop now if you do mixed cultivation. So crop rotation was growth of different plants, different crops basically, alternately on the same piece of land was crop rotation, while mixed cultivation is the process of growing 2 or more different types of crops in a particular field at the same period of time. This is known as mixed cultivation, right? Food from animals. Students, we obtain food from plants, as we saw that we do agriculture to obtain food from plants. We obtain seed grains. So we obtain food from animals as well. As we utilize plants, people use animals as well. Many people living in the coastal areas consume fish as a major part of their diet, because fish is present in ample amount, so they utilize fish as a part of their diet. Just like plants, animals reared at home or farms have to be provided with proper food, shelter and care. For example, if you have a poultry farm, then all the hen present inside your farm are to be taken proper care. They must be provided with proper food, proper shelter. So just like plants, as from preparation of the soil to harvesting, the crops are taken, they are basically cared for, right? We take proper care of our crop until it gets harvested. So just like that, we have to take care of our animals as well. If you are rearing them for your purpose, for eating purpose, they have to be provided with proper food, shelter and care. When this is done on a large scale, it is called animal husbandry, right? So what is animal husbandry? Animals reared at home or in farms have to be provided with proper food, shelter and care. When this is done on a large scale, it is called as animal husbandry. Now it is basically a kind of a business as well, because you produce animals and they are sold for different purposes, basically for food, just like chicken, meat, eggs. All these are obtained from animals and they are basically produced due to animal husbandry. Now let us see the food from animals. The practice of breeding and raising livestock is known as animal husbandry. This is again on a different definition. If definition is asked in the exams, you can write any of them. Now let us see what are these animal products. First one, milk. Milk is obtained from cow, buffalo and goat. Then comes meat. Meat comes from goat, pig, hen and fish, right? Then comes egg. Eggs are obtained from hen, which are edible, right? You prepare different dishes such as omelette, half fry, etc. from eggs. Then honey. Honey is obtained from honeybee, right? The honeybee produces honey, and we obtain that honey from the beehives, and this is how we obtain honey. So these are some products obtained from the animals. So in this lecture, we basically studied about animal husbandry and the products obtained from animals. This was the last topic of your chapter.